but you've got to have someone who's rational in charge. Everyone is emoting right now. We are emoting, the Israelis are emoting, and so are the Muslims. Emotion is the killer. Emotion leads to bad decisions and bad outcomes. What's needed now is cool, calm, collected thinking. And we need to understand that however much we hate Hamas, taking the current approach is the road to Armageddon in the Middle East. And we haven't even talked about nuclear weapons. And people don't seem to understand that, of course, the Israelis have a nuclear weapon, and they made it abundantly clear that if pushed to the wall, that they would use it.
Yeah, so I come across this video from TikTok, and a US colonel is sounding the alarm. He is telling people to be very careful. He is telling mostly the American. So let's hear what he had to say. He was talking popular Russian media outlet, RT.
The idea of a unified Muslim world, the greatest threat perhaps to Israel, a unified front, no divisions between Shia, Sunni, and others, and you have a unified Muslim world saying, down with Israel?
Well, normally the Israelis are very good at practicing economy of enemies. They've always been good at that. Deal with one at a time if you can and turn your potential opponents against each other. Unfortunately, this time, they've done the opposite, and we're helping them to do it over and over and over again every day, and that is that they've united the opposition. You're absolutely right. Now, is MBS in charge of it? I think has a very influential role because of his position in Saudi Arabia, which is effectively for Muslims the equivalent of the Holy Land. So what he says carries great weight. But you've got other actors. Qatar has funded not only Hamas, but also Mr. Erdogan in Turkey. Without Qatari funding, the Turks would be in serious economic trouble. So there are other actors that are playing into this, and you shouldn't underestimate General Sisi in Egypt. The Egyptians have maintained very good relations with the Israelis, but their government cannot survive what the Israelis are doing in Gaza. And the pressure on him to mobilize his army and go forward and fight potentially to protect the Gazans is enormous. Now, if you're an Israeli and you're angry and you're emoting about what you've seen, you may not be satisfied when you've killed 10,000 more or 20,000 more Palestinians. But you've got to have someone who's rational in charge. Everyone is emoting right now. We are emoting, the Israelis are emoting, and so are the Muslims. Emotion is the killer. Emotion leads to bad decisions and bad outcomes. What's needed now is cool, calm, collected thinking. And we need to understand that however much we hate Hamas, taking the current approach is the road to Armageddon in the Middle East. And we haven't even talked about nuclear weapons. And people don't seem to understand that, of course, the Israelis have a nuclear weapon, and they made it abundantly clear that if pushed to the wall, that they would use it. But they forget that, for instance, Turkey has very close relations with the Pakistani military. The Pakistani military and government has made it clear repeatedly over many, many years that if the Turks need nuclear warheads to protect themselves, they will receive them. So you're talking about a double envelopment, if you will. You're not only dealing with the high-end conventional warfare, the introduction of all these missiles and rockets and unmanned aircraft, you're also dealing with this evil shadow of nuclear exchange hovering over the region. So I keep advising anyone who will listen, back off. Think about this carefully. And I'm very grateful that the Israelis to this point have not yet gone in. That gives us a breathing space. We need that.
Well, at least someone with a voice of reason is sounding the alarm. The thing is, the Middle East is so disunited. I said this in a previous video, and I will say it again, that if there are some regions that are so disunited among themselves, it's the Middle East and Africa. Let me speak for myself as an African. Africa is so disunited. The different countries in Africa can barely agree on any single thing. We have been talking about African unity for more than 50 years, and we haven't gone anywhere. We have been talking about a common passport for Africa, and we haven't gone anywhere. Common trade for Africa, we haven't gone anywhere. Common currency, we haven't gone anywhere. West Africa brought ECO as a common currency, then it just died. CEMAC has a common currency, but this currency is being made or manufactured by France. CEMAC has a common passport, but that doesn't have any weight. So the whole thing is just so confusing in Africa. Same as the Middle East? Because if not, ask yourself, why will countries in Middle East not support Palestine? Why will countries in the Middle East cement ties with Israel, knowing full well that Palestine and Israel do not see eye to eye? Why will countries in the Middle East decided to deal with Israel without even thinking about the plight of the Palestinian people? Why will countries in the Middle East sit back and watch Israel build a legal settlement on Palestinian lands and do nothing, say nothing? They just watch. Aren't they supposed to be their brother's keeper? Aren't they supposed to speak with one voice? Aren't they? Aren't they supposed to look at this whole thing in the Middle East and say to Israel, look, Israel, we like you. We want to deal with you. But the way you are going about this thing is limiting our choices. We cannot deal with you if you kept on doing what you are doing in West Bank. If you kept on building illegal settlements in the West Bank. If you kept on persecuting the Palestinians in the West Bank as you've done. It will make us, it's making us not being able to deal with you. If they said so categorically and openly, I think Israel is going to back down. But they don't care. Saudi Arabia doesn't care. They just want to cement ties with Israel. Bahrain doesn't care. I think and this other one country, Egypt, doesn't care. Most of them don't care. Because if they really did, they would have spoken out against what the Palestinians have been going through for years. But they don't care. Every single one of them just care about their own skin. Every one of them is just trying to protect his or her own skin and let the Palestinians go sort out themselves. And that is why Israel has gone hard on the Palestinians. Israel has been building a legal settlement in the West Bank without any accountability, without anyone stopping them, without anyone holding them responsible. Israel kept Gaza under, quote-unquote, a siege. Israel kept Gaza like an open-air prison. Every single thing that went into Gaza had to be controlled. The Gazians could not even use their own sea. The Gazians could not even build their own power station because they would get knocked down. The Gaza could not even mine their own natural resources. Israel had control over everything. And then Israel will not blame Gazians or the Palestinians for not liking them. Israel will not come out to say that we are so angry because the Hamas terrorist group attacked us and you guys, the Palestinians, didn't do anything. Didn't let us know something like this was going on. How do you expect them to like you when you've subjected them to such a horrific situation? They blame you for their current situation. They blame you for the way things have unfolded in their lives. They blame you, Israel. So how do you expect them to kind of like you? Put yourself in their situation. Put yourself in their shoes. Would you like yourself if you were the one being in that situation that they are? Would you like yourself? Don't just say this because you are the one who has the upper hands. Don't just say it because you are the one who has everything, who could erase Gaza if you want, who could march into Gaza and strike down buildings, strike down hospitals, strike down schools, rally people together, strip them to their underwear, film them, and put them online. If you were the one in the situation that the Gazians are going through, let's be honest here, would you have a favorable view of the Israeli authorities? Let us know in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. Please don't forget to like this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel, because that helps us a lot and we shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.